who joins us now from our newsroom. 872 million rand, irregular, fruitless, wasteful expenditure, and somewhere in the middle there, as tends to happen with these things, throw in a couple of cars, Golf 7s. What's the story there, Govan?
Yes, that's right, Tilas. Just with the Golf 7, so essentially the Emfuleni Municipality entered into a lease agreement for Golf 7s over a period of 3 years, and these were the vehicles that were being used by the mayor and the mayoral executive. And during that time, they were paying 9,500 rand a month to lease these vehicles, and at the end of the leasing period, they still didn't own any of them. And if these vehicles were not brought back in the exact same condition that they were taken from, then they would also end up having to pay more. So these are just some of the dodgy contracts that were entered into, or at least contracts which the new mayor, Jacob Kawe, says may have been dodgy and may have been negotiated in favor of these private companies and, of course, to the detriment of the Emfuleni Municipality. But the headline deal, which they have queried and have actually cancelled last September and are now demanding their money back for, is a debt collectors company by the name of MBD. So this company was hired by the Emfuleni Municipality to collect debt that's older than 90 days old. And what they found in a forensic investigation over a one-year period is that MBD actually just started collecting debt from the current account. So that's people who were paying on time anyway. And that was to the tune of about 45 million rand. But I did speak to the mayor, Jacob Kawe, about this MBD contract and how it's affected the municipality. Let's have a look at what he said.
It's a relationship that started with good intentions. But I guess as time went by, they took advantage of the municipality. They collected where they were not supposed to collect. So ordinarily people who were paying us, they went to collect and claim that this is the work they've done. They didn't collect from the people they were supposed to be collecting. And they didn't give us any sense of value in the process. They harassed residents, and they didn't deposit the entire money to the municipality. And we came to a realization that this relationship is abusive, that it costs us more, and on the other side it harasses the residents. So we want to tell the people of Emfuleni that they shouldn't tolerate any arrogant treatment, SMS messages from MBD. We don't have a contract with them as we speak. It has cost us about 42 million rand, and we're embarking on a process to recover that money, because with 42 million rand you can do a lot, and we want it back.
So those are the words there of the Emfuleni Mayor, Jacob Kawe. But it seems, Govan, that at the heart of all of this was this concept of contract management, including this whole idea of what are they calling it? Order splitting, practices such as those.
Yeah, that's right. So just to give an example, the way in which, at least according to this report entitled Intentional Housekeeping, the manner in which the staff at the Emfuleni Municipality averted or avoided any tender processes was to split the order up. So the example that was given by the CFO was that if they, for example, wanted to buy a shirt, they would first order the buttons, then order the cloth, and then they would say that they had bought a shirt, and in that way they would avoid having to put things out on tender. So that happened for several service delivery related contracts which are required for such as sewage removal and refuse removal. But that is just one of the strategies which was being highlighted in this report as to how they managed to get around the necessity for an open bidding process when you actually want to send something out on tender. Then I have to say the Emfuleni Municipality has been cash-strapped, debt-ridden, of course, and over the last 4 years we've seen it entering into several payment agreements with Eskom, with Rand Water, also payment agreements with private contractors to continue the refuse removal. But we also know that the current financial year for the Emfuleni Municipality was a difficult one, where we saw the Auditor General's team coming under attack while they were conducting their work in the Emfuleni Municipality. In fact, one of the members of the Auditor General's team was shot while staying in Emfuleni and conducting her work. I asked the Mayor, Jacob Kawe, whether that was related to the investigation and whether that had any bearing on the report which they just released. This is what he had to say.
Look, we were shocked We were quite shocked, and we're quite pleased that she is recovering. We are waiting for the investigating team, because generally we don't want to mix things. Whether is it the work they were doing in Emfuleni or whether it's act of criminality, that would be left to the right people to do that. But if it has to do with us, we want to speedily work with the AG to ensure that we actually establish the cause and the perpetrators. And we were with her, we are with her family, and we wish her a recovery.
So part of what Jacob Kawe is saying is sort of a signal of him being contrite and apologizing to the public for this wasteful and fruitless expenditure. But what about consequence management and investigations? What are they going to do, Govan?
Right, so that approach will be two-pronged. First of all, they have registered a criminal case with the police, and the Hawks have now been brought in to assess whether or not during the negotiation of these contracts, the extension of these contracts, there was any sort of corruption which involved, first of all, the staff of the Emfuleni Municipality, but also the people who received the contracts. So that investigation will continue over the next 2 weeks. But at the same time, the mayor is saying that from next week he will start instituting disciplinary charges against people who have been implicated in this report, and he won't hesitate to suspend some of them. So if we go by what the mayor is saying to us, we can expect some suspensions from next week, or at the very least some people being placed in front of the disciplinary committee to answer for this extreme wastage of money.
All right, thank you so much for that. ENC's Govan Whittles tracking that story there for us. I tell you, truth can sometimes be stranger than fiction, and it would seem in this case of Emfuleni, sometimes it does feel certainly like that.